first, it's a pleasure and honor to represent ICC, and thank you so much for making me moderator of this amazing and very interesting topic, which is called COVID-19 outbreak. What is the next in the job market? And we have very esteemed panelists, which Mr. Majumdar has already introduced, and I'm so glad, happy, and it's such a pleasure and honor to moderate this session. So how we'll work on this particular, how we go about the next 90 minutes, I will just put in a brief agenda so that people who have joined understand. So the first, I will request Mr. Sundar to actually go through this presentation. If any of you have a question, you can put it on the Q&A section, which is there in the right-hand side. You will see there is a Q&A. So you can put in your questions there, and I will ask the questions further to Mr. Sudharshan's presentation. After that, I would love to hear Ma'am Sharma, who will present the team list, and we will end with our HR person, Department. So that is how we will go, and we'll go and see how it works out. For all three panelists, including myself, being the moderator, I am sure there'll be a very mix of crowd. So let's kind of mix English, Hindi, if you can, if it's manageable, if it's doable. अगर हम हिंदी में भी थोड़ा बहुत बात कर ले, I think अच्छा रहेंगे, क्योंकि हमको पता नहीं है कि कहाँ से लोग ज्वाइन किया है, तो that would be really nice because job market and job is something which people are really concerned. So just to set the context of this panel, I had quite an interesting discussion with all three of them. As it is looking very dismal as of now, now and then we are hearing people are getting laid off. But again, there are organizations, there are sectors who are also hiring a lot of people. So where is the gap? What we need to do? Where we can place ourselves, and what are the action items that we can, actionables that we can take going forward in the next few months, so that even if we have lost our job, we can get back the job, if not the same organization or some other organization. So with this context, it is my pleasure and honor to invite our first speaker, Mr. Sundar, B.V. Sundar. So all yours, over to you.
Thank you, Abhirup. Hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll just share my content.
Yeah.
When you see, you just tell.
Sudharshan, I've been taking your name wrong. Sincere apologies. Mr. B.V. Sudharshan, Deputy Managing Director of Network Technical Training, Foundation, Bangalore. Mr. Sudharshan, all yours. So, let's hear him out.
Okay, thank you very much. Am I audible now? Clear?
Yes, Mr. Sudharshan, absolutely, you're audible. And your screen is also visible.
Okay. So I will get started. Good afternoon to everyone, to the panelists and the people who joined as an attendee to this webinar. And I should thank ICC for organizing this webinar at this crucial period our generation is going through, because this is the most uncertain times our generations are facing, because we don't know what will happen next, which way the economy is going to be, and how India will respond. A lot of uncertainties facing the people at this point of time. So I just want to give you an overview of what is today's scenario. And also I will touch upon what kind of job opportunities it will come up on the way, and how the post-COVID scenario is looking like with the short 1 or 2 month of unlocking period which we are going through. So I will get started straight away. As you can see, you might have seen in several newspapers, the news hitting headlines today are not the good news. It's only the job crisis, layoffs, and viral affecting so many infections all around the world. So a lot of things hitting the headlines in these kind of matters. India today has 138 crore of population. Out of which it is estimated that 75% are under the working age. So roughly around 100 crores. Post-COVID scenario, that is, some people call it as BC, before COVID, about official data, about 40.4 crore were employed in Indian job market. 2 weeks into the lockdown, about 12 crore people lost their jobs. So such a kind of uncertainty is there in the market and volatile conditions. And there are a lot of MSME got affected, layoffs. These job losses or the salary cut are going to be the norm for at least another 1 year. It could be more impactful in some sectors like hospitality, travel, tourism. So the impact will be very high. It could be less in some kind of industry like IT, ITES, or pharma, so they can scrape through the situation. However, most of the people experience the job losses and salary cut. But is this the end? No, there are some bright spots also available, silver lines available, which we will talk about. So there are some recovery scenarios. A lot of experts talk about how the recovery will happen. Okay, I'm not really the expert, but I made some study. There is a Nike shoe wave of recovery, short plunge, stay at the bottom, and then gradual climb, and then a smoking pipe recovery, broad-based decline, and then recovering span is 2 to 3 quarters afterwards, and then a V-shaped recovery, that is a sudden plunge and immediate recovery, and then a W-shaped recovery, that is shock fall followed by recovery flatters, and again it recovers. So there are a lot of, and also U-shaped recovery is also being talked about. So a lot of, we will not know because nobody is very clear how the recovery will happen. We will see that how in the post-COVID scenario, what India is seeing. But ET, Economic Times, has done a survey of what are the odds for a quick economic recovery post lifting the lockdown. So some people say 2020 is wasted. Hope for 2021, 32.5%. Of course, we are all agreeing with that, but not completely waste. People are skilling themselves, changing their life thinking and attitude towards life. So it is not completely wasted, but in terms of economy, maybe. Even though in these responses, one positive thing is nobody is giving up hope. There are people telling 40% recovery possible with riders and depends on global economy. So there is a hope at the end of the day. So when you consider the factors influencing the jobs and skill, this is the survey by Ernst and Young. There are a lot of things, demographic and social economic factors, and there are technological factors influencing the jobs and skills. For example, a person is going today to the school, first standard. When he completes the graduation, he will most probably end up in a job which is not existent today. That means the rate of change is so fast, the jobs, present jobs will diminish faster than the new jobs will evolve. So he would end up in a new set of skills and new set of jobs. So a lot of things will change in the coming years. There is one framework presented by Ernst and Young. This is also post-COVID, before COVID. So, but I will slightly modify in my explanation how it is adapting to today's condition. That is, one is the globalization. The globalization now has got impacted because all countries are talking about reverse globalization or nationalization. You have seen India is coming out with a slogan, go vocal for local. So a lot of things we need to look at from the self-sustaining perspective in the post-COVID scenario. So globalization will take a hit. And we have seen across the world, there are visa restrictions, and we have seen the people coming from Gulf countries back to India. All those things add pressure on India's employability and the future jobs. Okay, so this will have an impact for at least 2 to 3 years of period. The globalization will take a hit, but the nationalization, local companies is set to prevail. Coming to the demographic changes, there are lots of things talked about in last 10 years about increase in urbanization. So a lot of people move towards the cities and for jobs and other things, and then the rise in middle class, which was dictating the economy and the jobs as well. But in today's context, post-COVID scenario, the urbanization will most probably take a hit because we have seen a lot of people leaving the cities and going back to the roots in villages and small towns. So a scenario could evolve that industries needs to focus on smaller town and villages to get the good skill labor because all are moving back to the home because of this health fear. People are moving back to the villages and small towns. So urbanization will some point of time will take a hit. But India has one greatest advantage in terms of demography. That is, Indian average age is about 28 years. Whereas if you compare to Japan or Germany, it is about 48 years. US, UK, and China, roughly around 40 years. So India has got a great advantage of a young youth. So if we can skill them properly and develop the right skills for the future, so Indian youth will have a fantastic time ahead to come because all Western countries today focusing on robotics, automation, because they are getting aged population. They are focusing on automation and other things where they can cut down the dependency on the human being. But going forward, they will also face shortage of skilled people to operate even robots or manage the human things, and human intelligence will ultimately prevail. So the one with the right skill set will have a great future in the coming years if we learn properly in the global economy. The third important is the adoption of exponential technologies by Indian industries. What is exponential technologies? In a simple words, I'll put it. You might have seen the smartphones and the internet, how it has disrupted the way we operate and the way we work also. This is a small example of exponential technology. The aggregators like Ola, Uber is also exponential technology. Paytm, for example. So these were not there some years. When they entered, they disrupted the whole system. And then within 2 to 3 years, they completely captured the market. Such kind of technologies, innovation will play a major role. Like, for example, today we are talking about robotics, artificial intelligence, IoT, etc. So we don't know which business model will come and disrupt the whole situation. And the launch of connected products and services. So all products, everything will be interconnected, and the IoT will play a major role. So it is not sufficient, one, if you study a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, one need to learn also new technologies like Internet of Things, for example, how it will impact his production way, production methods and other things. So one need not be complacent with what he has already known, but one should learn about these new, at least the basic understanding of how it will impact the way we operate. So this is one snapshot of framework, which is going to be predominantly playing the major role in the future jobs and skills. This is a look at what is redundancy in the future. All repetitive jobs cease to exist unless it adds value to the organization. All repetitive jobs will cease to exist. So one should make note that if you're not adding value, if you're doing a repetitive job, then artificial intelligence or robotics will take over and people will lose jobs. At the same time, all lot new job roles will evolve, which I will talk about in next slides. Industry 4.0 will play a major demanding role worldwide. So Industry 4.0 is just a caption, but associated with it, a lot of skills need to be learned, like robots, simulation, system integration, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, cloud computing, additive manufacturing, AR and VR, augmented reality and virtual reality and big data. So one needs to learn and adapt to this if you are in an industry wise. I'm talking from the engineering field perspective and the technical skill perspective. So one needs to be aware of these new skill sets. So let's have a look at sector-wise job forecast, which was predicted sometime a year back, but which is still valid today as well. So if you look at the textile and apparel industry, there are a lot of threatened jobs like helper, packer, checker, and other people uh, will lose their jobs. But there are a lot of future job roles will evolve, like apparel data scientist and PLC maintenance specialist, e-textile specialist. A lot of new job roles will evolve in textile and apparel industry as well. If you look at the retail industry, a lot of threatened jobs like normal jobs, cashier and sales representative will cease to exist, but a lot of exciting new job roles will come up. Example could be a digital imaging leader, digital marketing specialist, customer experience leader. A lot of new jobs will evolve. If you look at IT BPM sector, call center, agent data entry, system administration role will take a hit, but there are a lot of exciting new job roles will evolve worldwide. And then if you take about automotive, so it's predominantly a manufacturing oriented. So a lot of 3D printing technician, machine learning based specialist will be needed, and sustainability integration expert. A lot of new job roles, security expert, because we are talking about connected and autonomous vehicle. So a lot of security things will get evolved as well. So world is will change into a lot of automatic and digital mode in coming years. In the banking and finance and insurance sector, cybersecurity will take a major role because this is going to be the order of the day because a lot of transactions happening over the internet. So cybersecurity will have a great future as well. And then robot programmer, blockchain specialist, process model experts, etc., will be in demand. Apart from technical skills, the what future demands is a cognitive skills. So which is very, very important apart from the technical skills, right? If you know only technical skills, a lot of other soft skills like emotional intelligence, which is very much needed in the post-COVID scenario, because all humans will be left with the challenge of facing the new world with new challenges. So emotional intelligence will be the big thing, and then complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, judgment and decision making, service orientation. All these things are very important because the new age technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning can do most of the human beings can do repetitively also. So one need to move ahead in their mental ability with the new times challenges. Now let's look at the post-COVID recovery. Last 1 month, how India has been doing during the unlock phase. There are some positive signs, but we cannot tell this is, yes, it is going to grow now. But good news is there are some signs, key indicators like petrol and diesel consumption is back to 90% of the post-COVID level. And the electricity consumption, which is a key economic indicator, is about 90% level to the pre-COVID level. And then the tractor registration, which is very important from the agricultural perspective, which is back to the last year level tractor market. So there are signs of recovery happening already in India. So one need not have to think that everything will go wrong. But there are a lot of good signs are coming. But we need to wait and see. One big thing which I want to tell you over a lot of studies have been done how these big keywords like big data, uh, artificial intelligence, everything will do in next 10 years. I have studied a lot of reports. These technologies will continue to grow until 2030 because even in the lockdown period also there is a huge surge in data because compared to last year there are 38% surge in data management. So data science and artificial intelligence and other technologies will have a key role to play in the coming years. So instead of what will happen with the fear, one needs to look at how they can learn these skills in order to be ready when the demand comes. There is other things which I came across when I was looking through. There are interesting advertisement wanted farmers because a lot of people are coming to the urban areas and we are forgetting the basic roots. And then digital agriculture also will take a major role because India is basically a lot of agriculture country. Right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we can do a lot of agriculture and show to the world what we can do. So this is going to get the focus. And the sectors areas will sustain and grow in the immediate future, according to a UK company survey. IT and ITES, I told you, news and entertainment, because everybody is working from home and lockdown. So this will also have a sustenance. Finance and banking, pharma, FMCG, and online education will take a great advantage of this scenario. One thing I want to tell before I conclude, human race had always overcome crisis. We have seen in the World War II what happened. Many countries, Japan, Germany, demolished. But today, if you see, they have turned around and they are doing quite well. So this pandemic will get over and human race will succeed and we will hit back to the normal. It may take some years, some months, but we will come to that level. Only thing we need to use this time, harness our skills and be ready for the future. One important thing is, like Mahatma Gandhi said, live as if you were to tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever. So continuous learning, lifelong learning will be the key. And the only skill set that will be important in 21st century is the skill of learning new skills. Everything else will become obsolete over time. So learning new skill, developing appetite for the new skills is the order of the day. One cannot be complacent with what they already have. So with this, I conclude my presentation. So open for any question at this time or later. Thank you very much.